won't let you remember.
Sorry. What is up, guys? It's Ben and welcome back to the channel. We are here on week 12 of the NFL season. It has gone by in a blink of an eye. Last week we had some pretty exciting matchups and some crazy finishes. And sure enough, it's going to get crazier for this week. Last week I did a lot better for my predictions. I went 11-3 across the board, only missing the Bengals, Ravens, and 49er games. That puts my season record to a grand total of 99-67. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with the Thursday night matchup, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos such as these. Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns. I feel like it's Groundhog Day. I keep saying AFC North matchup, and sure enough, I'm going to say it again.
Again?
This Thursday night, we have an AFC North divisional matchup where we have the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cleveland Browns. The Steelers, you won a heavily contested matchup against the Baltimore Ravens, another AFC North divisional rival of yours.
Again?
And even though the Lamar Jackson shot himself in the foot many times during this game, let's not forget Chris Boswell was the only guy that gave you points on the board, 18 points to be exact. A stingy defense and a resilient kicker, that's what got you the win. For the Browns, it's just another Sunday with you guys. You guys got destroyed by the New Orleans Saints. Yes, Jameis Winston had a pretty good game with almost 400 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the same thing goes with Jerry Jeudy with a touchdown and 142 yards in receiving, but your defense just stunk. You allowed Taysom Hill and Derek Carr to run all over you. Kevin Stefanski, your seat is now hot. I've said this many times in the past, and I'm going to say it again. AFC North matchups are very brutal to watch. They are very physical, they demand a lot. But there's only one team in this matchup that shows that physicality and that resilience, and that is with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to give them the nod to win it. Pittsburgh takes it on the road, 30-14. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New York Giants. This Buccaneers team is just as confusing as the Seattle Seahawks. One game they can score 50 points, and the next game they can score 10 and only 10. But they got the job done at home against the San Francisco 49ers, winning by 3 points. You guys just played really good smash mouth ground attack and have both of your starting running backs score a touchdown. For a majority of the season, Baker Mayfield has been solid. But looking at the stat chart, he only had 116 passing yards for that game. I get it, a win is a win, but Baker is more than capable of getting 250 yards plus for each game that he plays. Gotta work on that. And for the Giants, what could I say about you guys? Just one thing, really. You guys embarrassed yourself on an international scale, falling short again on time and points, going into overtime and losing that to the Carolina Panthers. And now you have replaced Daniel Jones with Tommy DeVito. Cue the Godfather meme. Unless Tommy DeVito were to have the game of his life, I do not see the Giants at all in contention to win this game. So give me the Buccaneers to win this one. I think they just have a lot more of a solid offense and defense here. Baker should have no problem against this defense. Tampa Bay wins this 28-13. Tennessee Titans and Houston Texans. The Tennessee Titans are heading down to H-Town to take on their divisional rival, the Houston Texans. The Titans, this season is a wash. Let's just be real here. The only thing that you had going for you for this game against the Vikings was Will Levis, where he threw for almost 300 yards and 1 touchdown. But for this stat chart, you guys only had 15 yards of rushing for Tony Pollard. Unacceptable. You guys better start thinking about a top 5 pick for next year's draft. For the Texans, it was smooth sailing for them against the Dallas Cowboys, and for one person only. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Joe Mixon. 3 touchdowns for him, 2 in the first quarter alone, and the defense ran wild against the Cowboys, getting a fumble recovery and then scoring that for a touchdown. H-Town has been red hot. The only thing I'm hoping for in this game is that Will Levis will show off that he is more of a memeable character than we all imagine. He's been quiet the last few weeks, but I'm going to go with Houston to win this one with ease, and this will be one of a few blowouts I'm predicting for this week. 34-13, Houston. New England Patriots and Miami Dolphins. Another AFC East divisional matchup. The Patriots, you had a pretty close matchup against the Los Angeles Rams, only losing by a single score, but you guys made the game fun to watch. And when it comes down to rookie quarterbacks, I know I've praised Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels a ton, but Drake May has become very fun to watch recently. Despite the one interception that he did throw, he went 75% from the field for almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was still impressive. He may not be your next Tom Brady just yet, but give him some time. For Miami, it was another day at the office, easily taking care of business, beating the Las Vegas Raiders 34-19. Coming back from the scary injury, he's had a few weeks already, but Tua has been very fun to watch, not missing a beat whatsoever. Being a great field general as he always has been when healthy, he has distributed that ball perfectly amongst his running backs and his wide receivers, especially John Smith, who had 2 touchdowns. I know I sound like a broken record when I say this, but it's just so fun to see Tua back up and healthy again. I can't tell whether this is going to be a close matchup or this is going to be a one-sided affair. I personally would hope to see a close game. You always love those exciting matches, but I am going to pick Miami to win this one at home. Nothing against Drake May. You will have your chance in the limelight, but I am going to board the Tua train right now and give them the win. Miami takes it at home 30-21. Detroit Lions and Indianapolis Colts. The Detroit Lions are heading down to Naptown to take on the Indianapolis Colts. The Detroit Lions, you guys decimated the Jacksonville Jaguars in a one-sided affair as what most predicted.
Bring it on! SpongeBob can handle it! Ouch!
Yeah, that pretty much summed it up. There was nothing that the Jaguars could have done. The Detroit offense and defense was just way too much for them. And with their record at 9-1 right now, according to the betting odds, they are favorites to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I'd be all for that. Okay, Colts fans, I know we've been waiting for this for a long time, but I have a good idea of how we all felt after that Jets game.
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Clearly, this was his best game of his career so far. 272 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown, and a QB rating of over 106. That is just incredible. The defense did a great job just allowing 2 passing yards in the first quarter for Aaron Rodgers, but it was that magical final drive that Anthony Richardson led. With a great combination of pass and rushing, he literally trucked himself into the end zone, scoring his second rushing touchdown and the win. If there is one thing to say about Colts fans and AR fans, it's to be cautiously optimistic. Are we happy with his results against the Jets? Absolutely. Do we think it's going to happen against the Lions? We're not too sure. I'm going to be holding my breath, but I am going to pick my hometown Colts to get the win here against the Detroit Lions, the upset of the week, and it'll be close, as always. 24-21 Colts. Dallas Cowboys and Washington Commanders. It was probably safe to say that if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, the battle over Texas was probably one night you wish you forget, especially if you're Hank Hill.
Boomhauer, just because the Cowboys have a bad season or 2, or 5.
Yeah, that game from the start, despite the Nico Collins touchdown pass being called back due to a penalty, it was still Houston all the way. Although Cooper Rush did make it interesting in the first half, keeping them really close and tight, the second half was just all Texans. Not much else to be said. For the Commanders, it's been a rough 2 weeks for you guys. Losing to just a single point to the Steelers, really thought you had that in the rear view. At least that's how the game started when you played against the Eagles. You guys were basically in control for the first 3 quarters of the game. Then the momentum shifted, and then Saquon Barkley basically took the game in his own hands, and he scored 2 touchdowns on you at the very end. I tend to forget that you guys are still a young team, and you guys are only going to get better. But finishing games is what you need mostly. With the Eagles in your division, it's not going to make things any easier, but you need to finish those games. For this divisional matchup, I am going to side with the Washington Commanders for the win. I'm not too sure if the Cowboys are in the tanking mode, but I know for sure Washington is in the winning mode, and they want to win now, especially if they want to catch up to the Eagles. So give me Washington winning this at home over Dallas, 28-17. Minnesota Vikings and Chicago Bears. This week, the Minnesota Vikings are on the road heading to Chicago to take on their divisional rival, that is the Bears. And sure enough, they're coming with high anticipation for a win. They are on a 3-game winning streak right now. Most recently, they took out the Tennessee Titans on the road. Overall, it was a good day for the offense and the defense. And when this Vikings team hits consecutive wins, there's not much stopping them. For the Bears, they suffered the same fate as the Denver Broncos did 2 weeks ago.
And it's blocked! Oh my goodness, the Packers blocked it!
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
What do you mean you've seen this? It's brand new.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal to see. It was a great fight for you guys to the very end, but the misfortunes continue for the Bears. With that being said, between this matchup, even though it's going to be an NFC North classic rivalry, I am going to pick the Vikings to win this one on the road. They are just going to be a better team overall. Nothing against Caleb Williams, but I think they're going to continue to struggle throughout the rest of the season. 27-14 Minnesota. Kansas City Chiefs and Carolina Panthers. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've been waiting for. Again, no offense to any of my friends that are Kansas City Chief fans, but it was bound to happen. I mean, the Bills are one of the best teams that we have seen in recent years, can hold a candle to Kansas City, can beat Kansas City, and has the privilege to say they ruined your perfect season. Great game nonetheless. And for the third straight week, the Carolina Panthers did not lose. I'm including the bye week in this one. No, seriously, the Carolina Panthers are coming off of a bye week, but prior to that, they did face off in Germany against the New York Giants, where they beat them in overtime. A great win for this young team, and it kind of shows that Bryce Young is starting to kind of get some more confidence in his game, and I'm really excited to see what he does for the rest of the season. I don't know if they're capable of doing this, but the Carolina Panthers can do the funniest thing this week and beat the Kansas City Chiefs. But I don't think that's going to happen. It'll be funny though. But between these two teams, I am going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to win this one. But Carolina might show some fight. Kansas City wins this 24-10. Denver Broncos and Las Vegas Raiders. Talk about utter domination by the Broncos over the Falcons. There was nothing that could go wrong for Bo Nix and the rest of that team. They supplied an air and ground offense that was just amazing to watch, almost surgical really. And on the other end of the ball, they executed with precision. It was beautiful to see this. Jaden Daniels may have to take a seat for now, because Bo Nix is my new favorite rookie to watch. If not too careful, he might be the new Rookie of the Year. We'll just have to see. For the Raiders, the only good thing to come out of that game against the Dolphins was Brock Bowers, where he had one heck of a day. Leading receiver, got a touchdown, and that was about it for him. Not much else is going right with the Raiders, and the thoughts of Antonio Pierce returning to be the head coach for the Raiders next season are slipping away. Seat is hot. With that being said, also this being a divisional matchup, I'm going to go with the Broncos to win this one. There is no doubt in my mind that I think that Bo Nix is just going to stomp on this Raiders defense. Raiders may put up a little bit of a fight, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Denver takes this 31-17. Arizona Cardinals and Seattle Seahawks. The Cardinals are coming off of a bye week, but the week prior to that, they destroyed the New York Jets. I will admit, I was quite shocked to see how good they were against that Jets defense. I expected to see some good stuff out of Kyler Murray, but I didn't expect it to be this good. I repeat, that Jets defense is not easy to get through. But just like a knife through butter, they went through them easily. Currently, they're first in their division right now, and the sky is the limit to see what they can do so far for the rest of the season. Maybe they'll win the division. Who knows? We'll see. And for the Seahawks, another bird-themed team to win again, especially against a divisional rival being the San Francisco 49ers. Only by 3, though. But seriously, that was a great game for the Seahawks, especially for Geno Smith, who had that walk-in touchdown at the very end of the game. Despite their record, they are a very dangerous team. They demand respect, and they sure enough got my respect after last week's matchup. But between these two teams, I am going to pick the Arizona Cardinals to win. I just want to see Marvin Harrison Jr. have a great game. I want to see Kyler Murray have a great game. I just want to see those Redbirds win. I don't know what else to say. Make it entertaining nonetheless. Arizona wins 24-20. San Francisco 49ers and Green Bay Packers. You know, to start the season, I would have thought the 49ers were the outright favorites on the NFC side to get to the Super Bowl. But now things seem to have changed in the last few weeks, even with the return of Christian McCaffrey. But as mentioned previously, they lost to the Seattle Seahawks by 3 points. It was a game of attrition, and they really just didn't have anything in the tank. Even with Christian McCaffrey returning, like I just mentioned, they still couldn't find any offensive rhythm. But to end this on a good note, Ricky Pearsall, I think that's how you say his name, scored his first ever career touchdown. If you don't remember, this is the guy who got shot and robbed in the middle of the day in San Francisco, all because some thug wanted his Rolex. For the Packers, they're coming into this game after a nail-biter against the Chicago Bears. The offense was on point. It was a very physical, tough game, but Green Bay did come out on top. Despite the interception, he did score 1 touchdown and 261 yards in passing, even though he only threw the ball 17 times. But most of that went to his wide receiver, Christian Watson, who had 150 yards for 4 receptions and 4 targets. That is what you call a good average, 37.5 to be exact. But let's not forget how that game ended. That block for the game winner. I'm sorry, Bears fans. This matchup can go either way. The Packers are really tough to play at home. There's just something about that magic at Lambeau. And if I'm not mistaken, I hear that there's going to be snow on the ground by the time Sunday rolls around. You just gotta love a Lambeau snow game. They're instant classics. Even though that my heart says the 49ers, I am going to pick the Packers to win this one. It'll be a close contest, but a low-scoring affair. Packers win it 14-10. Philadelphia Eagles and LA Rams. It started off as a crazy slow game for the Eagles at home, out of all places. Turned into a second half match that the Eagles finally woke up and used Saquon Barkley efficiently. Seriously, Jalen Hurts really had nothing going on with him in the first half in that matchup against the Commanders. He also had one trip to the blue tent, but that was only brief. But that second half belonged to Philadelphia. Philadelphia allowed Washington to make more mistakes, which then they capitalized on, and at the very end, 2 touchdowns to Saquon Barkley. Overall, a great performance for the Eagles to finish out with a win. For the Rams, you had a really gutsy game against the Patriots. You guys only won by 6 points. And give Patriots credit, especially with their defense, because they did keep it close. But it was that one touchdown that Puka Nacua had where he basically put his whole body on the line, reached out and caught it. That was probably the highlight of your guys' season so far. I mean, an amazing grab. Puka's just, amazing already. But the Patriots are not the Eagles, and you guys are going to have to step up your game both on offense and defense if you're going to make this matchup even worthwhile. Speaking of which, I do think this is going to be a really good game to watch. Even the previous week at SoFi with the Bengals and the Chargers game was a great game. Nonetheless, I was still picking the Bengals to win, but that's old news. I'm going to pick the Rams to win this one at home against the Eagles, and I think it's just because the Rams play so much better at home. So give me the Rams to win this one, 24-21. Baltimore Ravens and Los Angeles Chargers. The Baltimore Ravens are coming off of a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers that was nonetheless both disheartening and sad. I mean, they lost to a team that did not score a single touchdown. And nothing against Russell Wilson, but seriously, there were so many mistakes that Lamar Jackson did in this game alone, and the questionable calls from the coaching staff. I mean, you guys were able to do a 2-point conversion at the very end of the game, and you did not put in Derrick Henry. What statistics or analytics say that that's not the right idea? Derrick Henry's a boss. Give him the ball next time when you have the chance. And for the Chargers, it was a pretty exciting game for you guys, wasn't it? I mean, you scored 24 points in the first half, and then you let the Bengals come back to the game. You let them take the lead for a little bit, and sure enough, they blew it like always. No offense, Bengals fans. I root for you guys a ton. My wife is a Bengals fan, so if the Colts suck, then I root for the Bengals. But it was really hard to root for you guys near the end. Punt after punt after punt after punt. And then the 2 missed kicks from McPherson. All J.K. Dobbins had to do was just score a touchdown. A well-deserved win by the Chargers, and an incredible game by Justin Herbert. With this matchup, I am going to pick the Chargers to win this one. I think the home field advantage is going to play in their factor. The only thing that the Chargers have to worry about is to contain Derrick Henry. If you contain Lamar Jackson, that's already half the battle. You need to have all eyes on Derrick Henry. So give me the Chargers to win this one over the Baltimore Ravens, 30-24. And with that being said, another week is in the books here for bets and predictions. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Peace.